Hi, how are you doing today? And happy Friday. Hope you're gonna have some well-deserved rest. Of course, while listening to my Drama King stories. Today's first story teaches us a very important thing in my opinion. To never air out our dirty laundry in public. Some things really should be kept private. Please don't forget that, guys. Let's go to the first story. Enjoy the stories, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My mom and stepdad got married when I, 30 female, was 10. That same year, we had my half-sister, 20 female. They had a pretty good relationship, but my stepdad never accepted me as part of their family, and I was always made to feel like an outsider. It created tension between my mom and stepdad, but things were okay. When I was 13, my mom had a stillbirth, and without saying too much for my family's privacy, it caused a huge rift between them. It got worse when I went off to college. When they had my half-sister, my mom agreed to put the college fund she had for me, all of my deceased father's inheritance, into a joint account for my half-sister and I to split for college. When I went to college, my stepdad said the school I chose was too expensive, and they would only cover a portion. My mom took my side. All this to say they finally divorced earlier this year. It was very hard on my half-sister, who grew up with two loving parents and did not see the problems in their marriage as she was too young to remember or be involved. My stepdad made it clear to my half-sister that my mom was the one who initiated the divorce, and my half-sister is very upset with her over it, making this 10 times harder on mom. My mom's birthday was last week, and I spent the weekend with her to celebrate. My half-sister was invited, and I offered to buy her ticket, but she chose to stay with her dad. One of the things we talked about was all the mutual stuff that my stepdad chose not to take with him after they divorced, including a china set they received as a wedding gift. My mom said it was hard to decide what to do with it and how upset it made her to have it in the house. I suggested we get some of those feelings out by smashing the set in the backyard. We did, and had a great time of it. My sister texted later that night and said she was sorry for not coming and asked what we were up to. I told her and said we were having fun, but it would be better with her. She flipped her lid and insisted that china was hers or her dad's, and we never should have broken it without their permission. I pointed out her dad left it at the house and she never had any interest in it. She insisted it was an heirloom and we were wrong for it. I just went to bed and ignored her, figuring it was for her and mom to duke out. Well, she posted about it on Facebook and called out my mom for being an irresponsible, permissive, narcissist parent. Mom is heartbroken and feels so guilty she hasn't been eating or sleeping. She's furious with me for talking her into it and furious at herself for allowing it. The whole family is now involved, mostly bashing mom and I. Stepfamily calls me ringleader and has sent so much hate and aggression to me for it. I've stood by it, but my mom wants me to apologize to my sister. I can't if it feels like it was wrong to me, but I am willing to accept with as much hate as I've gotten, I might be in the wrong. Am I the a-hole for breaking my mom's wedding china without my sister's okay? Remember first and most important rule, guys. Never trash your family and take out your dirty laundry publicly. That's the worst thing you can do. Also, when it comes to OP's sister, she should mind her business. To me, she sounds jealous that OP and mom had a good time. I understand that parents' divorce is always hard on a kid, but it's not an excuse for OP's sister to disrespect her mother and behave like a brat. Let's see if our community agrees with me. Such Awareness 2960 says, "Not the a-hole. I actually think you need to step away from your mother and half-sister. Your mother failed as a parent when she decided to stay with a man who treated you as an outsider in your own home. She is your mother and was supposed to protect you as much as possible from toxic environment, not expose you to a man who made you feel unwanted in your own family. The fact that she split your inheritance from your father with your half-sister is disgusting and another failure as a parent. You are her child, yet she put making her husband happy by taking away something that rightfully belongs to you. You deserve better than a mother like that. Let her deal with the mess she created by marrying such a toxic man." Louis V. 25 says, "It is amazing to me that people think they are entitled to anyone else's property. The china belonged to your mom and stepdad until he abandoned that property. He never looked at it as an heirloom until his daughter became mad. Sis didn't care about it until your mom didn't want it. There's nothing that you can do about your stepdad being bitter and poisoning your half-sister. You and your mom did nothing wrong." The Quiet Type 84 says, "Not the a-hole. I'd be tempted to tell my mom and sister that half of my inheritance from my dad was stolen and given to my sister to go to college, since her parents didn't want to save up for her. So I'm not apologizing for some pieces of china. Peace. I'm 25. My sister is 29. I also have a younger sister, 8. When I was 14, my mom sent me to live with her parents. Her excuse was that they needed me to help out. I believe she just didn't want to deal with a growing male teen. My grandparents owned an amazing property in the mountains that has an amazing view. We also have some horses and other critters. They were also quite wealthy as well. They both passed 4 years ago, a month apart. They gave me the property because I would appreciate and respect it more, while my mom and sisters got money and other assets, overall valued more than the property. In the past 4 years, I turned part of the property into a venue for mainly weddings. Grandparents knew of this idea and thought it was a good one. We were busy and usually booked about 8 months out. My sister got engaged 1.5 years ago, and she said she wanted to get married at the property. I said yes, just let me know the date as soon as possible so I can make sure it is booked. I never got a date. I followed up several times and kept asking her, and she would brush me off. 2 weeks ago, I got the wedding invitation, stating the property is the location and the date, which is September of this year. I immediately called her to say that we have booked for that date and can accommodate her. Well, now her, my mom, other family, her partner's family, as well as other flying monkeys have been blowing up on me. They're also calling and writing reviews for my business. I asked them to stop and called my sister, telling her that literally all she had to do was tell me when she knew her date, so I could block it, and I would take care of everything else. She went off on how I'm ruining her day. It is our family's property, how she already sent out the invitations and couldn't go back now. I should just tell the other couple to cancel. They've been on the books for over a year now, and I actually like them. Family is more important. After the last big blow-up, I started communicating strictly through the business, using our recorded line as well as email. I suggested 3 other dates around the same time, but that's not good enough. I'm being resentful and an a-hole. Wow, OP's sister is one spoiled brat. What, does she think the world is turning only around her? She needed to tell OP the date and didn't. That's on her. It's not OP's fault at all. And let's see what the community says. Good Manufacturer 396 says, not the a-hole. I would suggest getting a lawyer involved before your family causes harm to your business. Send them all cease and desist letters. This is your property and business. Do not allow them to discredit it just because they are not getting their way. I'd also put a PSA out that her wedding will not be at your venue. That way a bunch of people don't show up and ruin this other lovely couple's wedding by causing a scene. One thing I've learned is you never mix family and business. Family will never respect your business because they feel entitled to it. So it's best to only offer family a small discount, but still make them go through all the proper channels, or they don't get whatever service you provide. Mbop says, retract the offer to use the property at all. Hire security for the wedding date. With invitations out now, some people may show, and you don't want that day ruined for the lovely couple already booked for the date. Respond to every review they leave with a cut and paste comment saying that the wedding party in question never booked your venue. Short, simple, and no apology or over-explanation. Mina Choi 1999 says, not the a-hole, but you will be if you cancel on the other couple who has patiently waited more than a year for their venue. Please do not ruin their day. And your sister is a big a-hole here. She's just misusing her privilege as your sister. You gave her plenty of chances to let you know the date, and she still didn't, and she didn't accept the alternative dates you offered. So she doesn't deserve this venue, and she probably printed the card so you would be obliged to give her the date. I, 35 female, have 2 brothers. One is Josh, 45 male. We have the same mom and dad. The other is Aaron, 24 male. Josh, Aaron, and I share a mother, but he has a different father. My mom and Aaron's father were married 5 years, then divorced. Josh is currently engaged to a 22-year-old woman, Caroline. This is something that most people in our family are uncomfortable with, especially as Caroline is just 1 year older than Josh's son. However, we've mostly bit our tongue. A couple of years ago, it came out that Aaron's father had a secret love child, Jim, 36 male. Aaron and Jim have built a relationship. I met Jim and we hit it off. We started dating and are now married. Aaron is cool with it and jokes it's funny he's both my brother and brother-in-law. Josh, however, has called it incest even though Jim and I share absolutely no DNA. He said it's still weird, as we share a brother. I tried to ignore him. I'm currently pregnant with my first child. Recently, we all got together for my birthday. I just had my Spotify playing music. A few people would grab my phone and put on new songs. Halfway through, Josh grabbed my phone and said, "I dedicate this song to my sister, brother-in-law, and niece." Sweet Home Alabama began playing. I sat there for a moment, letting it play. I then brought up it was graduation season and asked Josh how it felt to know his fiancée wasn't even born when he was walking across the stage. He and Caroline got upset and left not long after. Aaron and Jim thought it was well-deserved. My parents think I should have risen above it, and there was no need to make everyone uncomfortable, because Josh was just joking. Josh hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the a-hole? Well, in my opinion, he started it first and got the taste of his own medicine. What can I say? Well done, OP, for standing up for yourself. Applause. Let's see what the community has to say. Lil Psalm 16 says, "Not the a-hole. He dished it out first, so if he can't take the heat, don't start the fire. I wouldn't waste your time on him." Intelligent Peach 24 says, "Not the a-hole, but Josh is. Josh has no room to talk given his fiancée is half his age. If he wants everyone to keep pretending that his current relationship isn't creepy, he should keep his opinions on others to himself." Background Dog 1426 says, "Not the a-hole. Not a fan of your parents' reaction. Your brother gets to insult you and gets a free pass for just joking, but you, on the other hand, are making everyone uncomfortable. Complete double standard. F them for treating you as lesser than your brother." My sister Lily has a 2-year-old son, Thomas, yet acts as if she's still a teenager. Lily commonly says things like how she's young and her 20s are meant to be the best years of her life. Therefore, older adults are meant to accommodate her lifestyle. Our parents have been raising Thomas more than Lily has, but after many warnings went ignored, they recently put their foot down with Lily. Our parents told Lily they're tired of her doing whatever she wants, and it's time for her to grow up. They gave her several months to work out new housing, childcare arrangements. Time's almost up, and Lily found a studio, but hasn't gotten any childcare worked out. She was hoping that our parents would change their minds, and is finally realizing that they're serious. Our paternal grandma can't help because she's disabled, and my maternal grandparents told Lily no. So she begged me to return to working from home so that I could provide childcare for Thomas. I told Lily no. Working from home isn't the paid vacation that she assumes it is. I already have a life and responsibilities of my own, and I didn't sign up to be a parent. Lily gave me her usual arguments about her right to be a young person and enjoy her 20s. So I told her I also have that right. She waived hers by having a baby, and our parents are right that she needs to grow up. Lily is also turning her nose up at a job opportunity that offers on-site childcare to employees, because it's in retail, and she says she's afraid of being recognized by her former classmates. I told Lily that I didn't care. She's 23. Most of her former classmates are also working embarrassing retail jobs anyway. Hell, if anything, her former classmates would probably be jealous of her for landing a job that provides on-site childcare. Lily told my paternal grandma, the one who is disabled and cannot help, about what's going on. My paternal grandma called me a bad sister and aunt, because big sisters are supposed to look after their little siblings, no matter how old they are. A few of my friends told me I should be more concerned about Thomas, and how my refusal to help will impact him. They said I'm naive to think Lily will get her crap together when I've seen how irresponsible, immature she is. And when Lily inevitably decides to act irresponsible, it's going to be my nephew who pays the price. My friends are reasonable to worry about Thomas, but there's no chance Lily will ever learn if people keep enabling her. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help? Well, it's Lily who decided to have a child. She has options. And OP is definitely not in the wrong here in my opinion. Work from home doesn't mean that OP has free time or a vacation. OP is still working and can't take care of a young child while doing so. And even if OP did, really at the end of the day, it's not OP's responsibility. OP is also right that she's never going to grow up if everyone keeps enabling her. Cats Killed Kid says, not the a-hole. There's no solution for Lily except life. She thinks or believes she is owed something from the world. Only when she loses this as her religion can she learn to be responsible for herself and the child she brought into the world. Oh, by the way, where is Thomas's father, family? Lily has a history of bad choices, and Grandma just doesn't or can't see it, and if she could help, probably would have a different opinion. ElfTars426 says, not the a-hole. Paternal grandma is a piece of work. As others have pointed out, the longer everyone enables her, the worse it's gonna get. My brother and sister-in-law are expecting a little boy. She's due this summer. Months ago, they told us, close family and friends, the name they had chosen. We thought it was a great name, and sister-in-law was saying how happy she was. My brother made a comment about us knowing for the baby shower and in case gifts were being purchased. So my mom, sister, and I bought some items with the name. Sister-in-law's mom, who is disabled and chronically ill, spent months knitting a blanket with the name. I also found a sign I knew sister-in-law wanted and bought that as a gift for them. Then, a week before the baby shower, my brother announces he no longer wanted the name and it was going to change. Sister-in-law was so upset. The rest of us were shocked, and then I was pissed. He let so many people spend money on stuff because he knew we were using the name on gifts and stuff and never said a thing. Turns out, he never liked the name. He just wanted the middle name and then could no longer live with his wife's first choice for boy's name. The girls arranging the baby shower lost out on some money with that, so they were also pissed. My brother was complaining about everyone dogpiling on him, and he told me I had no right to be pissed at him. I started to yell, saying he had let people get used to the name, had known we were buying and making items with the name all the while he knew he didn't like it. And then he turns around a week before the event with the money spent on banners and stuff and says, "Oh well, I don't like it." I told him what he allowed his mother-in-law to do, knowing how much it must have been a struggle for her, and still decides to change the name like it's nothing, even seeing how much it upset his wife. I told him I was not buying more gifts, and that he better get used to people not liking him very much because he can't just do that in a flippant manner and expect people to be okay. He told me I was being unfair, and it's not like he was born. I said don't announce it then and let people use it for months. Don't bring up gifts with the name because that makes it feel like an even bigger done deal. I told him he could always pay us back for what we bought and the time invested since he changed his mind. He told me I was overreacting, and I told him he knows deep down I'm right when everyone is mad at him. He even let slip that sister-in-law's been cooler toward him since. He told me I was an a-hole, and I was making it seem like he's a monster for changing his mind. Am I the a-hole? Well, it's very simple. OP's brother asked for the gifts to be personalized. If he wasn't sure about the name, he shouldn't have told so. Let's see what the community thinks about the situation. Old B 4773 says, "Not the a-hole. He's entitled to change his mind on what he likes. But he is not entitled to be surprised or upset when people who have made and purchased gifts with the name at his suggestion are angry at him." Not So Sure 8765 says, "Not the a-hole. I feel so bad for your sister-in-law. If my partner did this, I'd be devastated. I know he's not carrying the kid, so he won't understand the seriousness of what he's done yet. But she's become attached to that name and that baby. She's probably talking to him, using his name, forming that bond. Your brother's dishonesty will do lasting damage to his relationship with her, and while yes, he's allowed to change his mind, that's not exactly what happened here. He had doubts about the name from the beginning. He doesn't get to be the victim here now that people are pissed. You probably shouldn't have yelled at him or piled on about the financial aspect, considering that the name itself is more important than money spent. But someone needed to tell him that he screwed up royally overall, so I give you a pass on your delivery. I hope he reconsiders."